In today's session, let's understand how to integrate, how to link data factory with Azure tables. These Azure tables are from ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage. Okay, so here we go. Let's understand how it is. Let's start with an example slowly, step by step. Here is one data source. Okay, here is one data source. This is country data and company data, country wise, company wise, month wise, sale 1, sale 2, sale 3, like this. Okay, country wise, company wise, month wise, sale 1, 2, 3 in this way. Our requirement, this CSV file, you would like to use it as input. CSV file, you would like to use it as input to Storage Explorer tool and create a Azure table. This is the first thing. CSV to Azure table. Then that Azure table, you would like to give it to SQL pool through data factory. So source is CSV, destination would be SQL pool, a warehouse. Okay, let's understand how to perform this activity. How do we do that? Yes, our CSV file ready. Our CSV file ready. Now what we do is here. Firstly, let me launch Storage Explorer tool. I got my storage account. Right click, create table. You are already aware of data factory, ADLS. You install Storage Explorer tool. We are taking an example linking the items. Create table. I'll call it as Azure table. Okay, you got a brand new table ready. Click on import. Let's import from our data source. Let me import from our data source. Click on import, open. Some old data, legacy data you would like to import. First column name, I'll take it as partition key. Second column name, row key. Remaining, you may leave it to default. First column name should be partition key. Second column name should be row key for Azure tables. Once we get this content ready, click import. So what we are doing now, we are creating a table, importing data from CSV file into this Azure table. Back to diagram, here it is. CSV to Azure table. This one, left side done. Let's move on to data factory. Create the linked service. Bring data from Azure tables. Do some aggregations. The main purpose of this data, purpose of the example, aggregated data store. Using ADF, we'll see now how to aggregate and load data into Synapse SQL Pool. Purpose of Synapse SQL Pool is to store aggregated data. How do we do that? Let's see. Firstly, make sure your SQL ADLS table, Azure table is ready with your data. Almost complete. Let's wait for some time. I think around 380 rows or something like that. Around 350 rows or something like that. 350 to 380 rows. Let's wait. Let's wait for a few moments. Let's wait for this load to get completed. Hardly take another few moments. Yes, some 382 rows were loaded here. First column name should be row key, second column name should be partition. First column name should be partition key, second column name should be row key. Okay, so here it is. What we did so far, step number 1, create in your Azure account, create Azure Data Lake Storage, okay, ADLS, and create Azure Table. Install Storage Explorer tool and import the given source CSV file into above Azure Table. Step 1. Step 2. Here it is from your computer. Okay, next. Number 2. In your Azure account, create Azure SQL Server and create Azure SQL Pool. Our requirement is to have the content to our red box, right? Synapse SQL Pool. And we know for Synapse SQL Pool or dedicated SQL Pool, there should be an SQL server. So get that SQL server warehouse ready. First SQL server, inside SQL server warehouse also ready. Here it is. So my server ready, that SQL School training.database, something like that. SQL server ready, inside SQL server warehouse ready, right? Both are ready. I am using basic plan DW100. We are aware of all these items, my assumption, and we are just integrating them together. Create Azure SQL Pool. Then step number 3, final step. In your Azure account, what we do, create Azure Data Factory, create Azure Data Factory. Next, go to data flow, ADF Studio, data flow. Why data flow? Because I said aggregations, right? Our requirement is to have aggregated data from step 1 table to step 2 pool. So step 3 is the ingestion service. So go to data flow, click on transform data. My assumption, yes, we are aware of ADLS, we are aware of ADF, we are aware of SQL pool. Here we are learning how to bring them together to a single plate. Let's start the Spark cluster. Click OK. Once we start the Spark cluster, okay, because in main intention of this example, in our course we used to learn blob storage to Synapse through ADF, we learnt examples. SQL tables through Synapse through ADF, we learnt the examples. We also learnt example how to create Azure table separately We learned how to make use of Explorer tool, uploading CSV files separately. Now we are integrating everything together. Earlier we used to run individual examples. Now integrating the things together. So here it is. What I do, go to ADF, start the Spark cluster and click on add source. New data source. Search Azure Table. Select Azure Table. It should be available here. In case if you don't get this Azure Table, not a problem. You have other one called copy data tool. Anything is fine. Data flow task usually supports Azure Table as a source. If you don't have it, if in case if it is grayed out for some reason for your account, not a problem. Select copy data tool, new connection and Azure Table. This one, okay, here it is enabled. I repeat, data flow, it should be enabled. For some reason for your account, if it is disabled, not a problem. Alternative, copy data tool, it should be self-hosted, sorry, auto resolving IR, because we are connecting to a connection or connecting to a platform, data platform within Azure, right? Within Azure. So it should be auto resolving IR. Let me give the storage account and test connection. Click create. Storage account connection ready. Source ready. This is the table. You would like to get the entire table or use query. Use query. Select the table. See there, select table, and here you see query option. Preview data. What I'll do is I'll take you back to Explorer tool. Here you see an option to generate the query. Let me generate the query here and use it in ADF. Okay. For example, I'll take some Germany and sale 2018 like this. Say greater than and give some values here, greater than 1000 like this. Give some condition. Okay, I think it's string data type by default over there. Anything is fine. Okay, something like this. Give some condition, anything is fine. Make sure you provide valid query condition. Next, and sale 2017 say less than 10,000. Give some values here. Right now you see some data like this. It may be and or like this. You got some data here, some 14 rows, whatever. Then here it is. Text editor. Text editor. This is the STGSQL query, also called OData, open data, OData query we call it. Okay, this tool will help us to generate the OData. Select, go to query, and paste. So from Storage Explorer tool, we design a query, test it, and then you get it here. What else? We need to test that query here also. Click on preview. Let's click on preview in this way. Yes, our preview is fine. Then what we do? Click next. You can give it to a destination straight SQL pool, or you can also give it to some intermediate storage like an SQL database. Use that SQL database in data flow for aggregations and other things. For now, I'll give it to new connection, Synapse Analytics. Give the server name, database name, username, and the password. Give username, password like this. Okay, next. I would like to give this as TBL sales data from Azure Tables ADLS. Give some name, okay, like this. Give some name, any name of your choice. Click next. Very important. You don't want all columns. For example, partition key, you would like to give it as country, row key, company, timestamp. You don't want this timestamp. You would like to have month, sale 1, sale 2 like this. New mapping, see here, new mapping, and select or edit a column. Here also select or edit a column like this. Okay, new mapping. Here, observe carefully, we can define a new mapping like this. It's up to you. If you want, you can do it. Plus, like this. We can have any number of columns here. For example, ETL date and map it. If you remember, in data flow, we can perform this kind of ETL, add date, surrogate keys, etc. For now, I'll go with the default option, but I'm just giving a clue. Previous statement was mentioning, if required, you can store the data into SQL database, right? Azure SQL database temporarily until you give it to SQL pool. So using data flow, so SQL database can be like a stage. SQL database can be like a stage. Use that stage in the data flow, do aggregations, ETL date, surrogate key, etc. Next, and here it is. I'll take it as Azure Table pipeline, staging optional, it's recommended but optional. DIUs, I leave it to the default. Next, I leave it to the default. Next, here it is. Okay, next step. Here, I'll select bulk insert Azure Table to Synapse Analytics like this. What we are doing here on my screen. ADF copy data tool source Azure Table and OData query. Here you got the Explorer tool, right? Import and filter the data, generate the query. This is called OData query, also called STG query. Then what we do? Sync Azure SQL pool. Then other pipeline and trigger. Okay, you are done like this. Click finish. Click finish. We didn't schedule the pipeline, so go to monitor and you see the pipeline is successful. So you are able to get the data, Azure Table data into Synapse SQL Pool table. This one. We go to SSMS or other studio and verify the result. We are able to see it success. Now here it is. From here, task 1. This is our requirement. Get the data from CSV to Azure Table, ADF to Synapse, right? Left top to right. Left to top to right. Now task item number 1. How to load Azure Table data into blob. Please try blob, okay? Blob file. Next. Then how to store or how to perform aggregated data from above blob file aggregations, or how to perform aggregations on above blob file, comma, store into, okay, store into. What you would like to do here? You would like to store them into, for example, Azure SQL pool. Okay, this is the first item, first task. Task number 2. How to load data from Azure Table into Azure SQL database, then perform aggregations, store it into SQL pool. You please try these 2 items if you can. These 2 requires data flow, right? Observe carefully. Directly Azure tables, we are not able to get them to SQL pool using data flow, right? It got disabled. So alternative, you can use a stage in between, like a Bob container or Azure SQL database, anything you can use as a stage. We can do that one. With this information, what we learned now, we understood ADLS with ADF for Azure tables. Okay, practice these items carefully. Do let me know for your doubts, clarifications, if any. Try to work on the task item as well, those 2 tasks, and let me know for questions, errors, anything. Glad to assist you.